What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. And the UFC has announced the UFC 305 main event. It is going to be Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya. A lot of people may be confused about this announcement, considering that Izzy is coming off of a loss right now to Sean Strickland, and he's somehow getting a title shot. Realistically, it doesn't make much sense. I mean, it just doesn't. But I understand why the UFC are doing this. This fight is going to be a massive fight, and there's a lot of things going into this fight that make it an interesting matchup. It's not actually the fighters, because both guys stylistically aren't the most pleasing to watch at times, but it's the things that are going on in the background that are why this fight is going to be so massive. It all started, of course, with Dricus du Plessis' comments about being the first real African champion. That triggered Izzy. He went on a whole rant, and you guys kind of know the story. You know the backstory. Pretty much, it's a battle of who's the king of Africa, and it's honestly a really great storyline heading into a fight, but with some of the race connotations, it gets a little bit interesting, and it doesn't really sit right with you in your stomach. I mean, if you really think about why these guys really hate each other. But honestly, it could just be fight business. This could just be them promoting the fight, and if it is that, I don't blame them for doing so. Like, this fight has been talked about for a while now. A lot of people are interested in this matchup, even though they say that they don't want to see Izzy fight for the title because he's coming off of a loss. I mean, that's fair, but a lot of people do want to see this fight. It's compelling, it's interesting, there's backstory in it, and I think it's going to make for an overall great fight. Now, I do feel a little bit bad for Sean Strickland because, I mean, this realistically probably should have been him. His first fight with DDP was close, and a lot of people actually thought that he did end up winning the fight. So a rematch kind of seemed like it made sense, especially considering Izzy was coming off of a loss to Sean Strickland, by the way. So a lot of people were saying, okay, let's just get Sean in there, have him rematch Dricus, because there really is nobody else at this point. And while I do understand that, at the end of the day, Sean Strickland only had one title defense. So, I mean, actually, he didn't even have a title defense. He lost to DDP in his first defense. He never defended the title. So, I mean, him getting in an immediate rematch, it also doesn't really make the most sense, to be honest. So, both guys really aren't that deserving of a title shot. And so, they decided to go with Izzy because it was the bigger business. I mean, this will probably be, I think it's fair to say this could be the biggest pay-per-view of the year if Conor McGregor doesn't end up fighting, and if like Ilya and Max and that whole O'Malley Merab Sphere card doesn't happen. I think this actually could be one of the bigger pay-per-views of the year. And what I'm really interested to see is if they end up stacking the rest of this Perth card, because typically when you see a guy like Conor McGregor fight, for example, they really make the rest of the card weak because they know a lot of the focus is on the main event. But I know Izzy's not Conor, so obviously you may have to spice it up a bit, but I'm interested to see if there's a lot of other big fights on this card that were rumored before. So at the time, I think the only confirmed matchup we have is Kai Kara France versus Steve Erceg, which is a great fight. New Zealand versus Australia, it's going to be an awesome matchup, but that's the only big fight that I know that's confirmed for this card. Of course, Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Jack Della Maddalena has been rumored for this card for so long now, but I don't know if that's going to be happening because apparently JDM had to have surgery after his last fight, and it doesn't look like he's going to be ready in time to fight on the Perth card. Will they still get Shavkat in there against somebody else? I don't know. I think it's a little unlikely. I think that they probably will put another good co-main on this card, something, I don't even know what, but something that would entice the fans, and they'll probably try and get more Australian and New Zealand presence on this card, so obviously more fighters from there are going to be added. If Dan Hooker, for example, doesn't get a fight at UFC Paris, which he's rumored to get against Benoit Saint Denis, I think you can even have those two fight in the co-main event on that Perth card, and it would be an awesome matchup. So I think there's options here, but really the main focus is going to be on the main event. Stylistically, these two are complete opposites. You have Izzy, who's a long, lengthy kickboxer, who's going to try and fight at a distance and try and pick apart Dricus on the feet. Dricus, obviously not a bad striker. He has power and he has kicks as well, so he's going to be doing damage on the feet too, but I would still favor Adesanya definitely in the stand-up. But then, in the grappling, I would definitely favor DDP. I mean, he's definitely a better grappler. He's definitely going to try and grapple Izzy in this fight because, I mean, that's what anybody who fights Adesanya should be trying to do anyways. So I definitely see him doing that, and I see him being effective with it as well. To pick a winner in this fight is really interesting because there's going to be a lot of different emotions and connotations during fight week and when we get closer to this fight that's going to affect the outcome. But honestly, right now, my gut's telling me it's probably going to be Dricus du Plessis just because of the stylistic difference. I mean, he's going to be able to take Izzy down. He's going to be able to stand with him on the feet. So I think he just has more of an advantage in all departments. Izzy's been off for a long time now. He's coming off of that 5-0 loss to Sean Strickland. His confidence may not be at the highest level either. I just think DDP might be able to get the job done, but who knows? Izzy's been counted out before, and he definitely knows how to redeem himself and redeem these stories that he's been on, because look what he did to Alex Pereira when he came back and knocked him out. So I don't know. I think Izzy definitely stands a fair chance in this fight, and I'm just excited to see it happen. I think this is going to be an awesome fight, and then I'm just excited that we're finally getting some fights announced towards the end of the year. Now it's your guys' chance, so let me know in the comments down below. Do you like this matchup? Do you think Izzy is deserving of this title shot, or would you have rather seen Sean Strickland get the title shot instead? Let me know down below. Thank you all for watching this video. Be on the lookout of my breakdown for UFC Saudi Arabia. We got Robert Whittaker, Ikram Aliskerov fighting this weekend. It's going to be a great card, and be on the lookout for that video too. Thank you all for watching once again, and I'll catch you in the next one.